Hello, everybody. I'm Kramer Snuggs with Cascade Technologies, and we are finally back for another episode of Emerging Technologies. Today, we've got Mark Nagao, Randy Silver, Colleen Salmon, and Zach Cordova with us, and we'll be covering a range of topics, everywhere from the pandemic down to some new offerings from Cisco, down to just really how business is really taking a shift for all of us. During this pandemic. And so, yeah, I'm really glad to have everybody here. I think that, let's also go around real quick just for maybe our new listeners, and everybody, go ahead and say, where they work and what their role is and everything, just for our new listeners.
Start us off, Colleen.
Hey, everyone. My name is Colleen Salmon. I am one of the engineers here at D&H Distributing, and I work on the Cisco desk. We primarily handle all of the Cisco portfolio, but my main component is the security line.
Now, is that, just to interject real quick, is that hardware and software? I mean, anything Cisco?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, from the firewalls up to the cloud licensing, anything you need.
Sounds good. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome, I can go.
Go for it, Randy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Randy Silver. I ran a cloud security small business team globally. I'm based in San Diego, but I have people who sit in San Francisco, Raleigh, London, Singapore. I do host my own podcast, quick little plug, Leap of Faith Pod. That's how we all got connected here. If you're a podcast fan, go check it out. It's around culture society. But I'm here today to talk about Cisco Umbrella, specifically our MSP program, how we're able to enable the success of small businesses by giving you the ability to not have to worry about security through the MSP program.
Awesome.
Nice.
Go for it, Zach.
Glad to have you.
Hi, unfortunately you can't see me because of bandwidth issues, but I'm Zachary Cordova, owner of Best Security Systems, based here in Brighton, Colorado. I stay pretty much stationary around this Denver metro area, but I do occasionally travel to surrounding states to a degree. Going to be talking about some stuff related to our industry. Here at Best Security Systems, we do all kinds of stuff. We do structured cabling, alarm systems, cameras, access control, AV, everything low voltage for the most part. I'm going to be talking about, with more recent things in terms of, in our industry specifically with physical security, where there's kind of cybersecurity issues, some of the cameras and NDA compliance, and stuff on that realm when we get around to that, and then how that can kind of be tied into, the whole cybersecurity side of stuff.
Awesome.
Nice.
I guess
Mark?
I'm last. Huh? Yes, I work for Cisco. I'm the Americas Distribution Business Development Manager, and we do these podcasts together with Kramer Snuggs. So super happy to be here.
Cool. Well, let's jump right into it. I think that right now, 2020 has proven to be a unicorn, if I may, of a year between the pandemic that we've got going on and, out west with the wildfires. And, we've obviously got a lot going on with politics right now, which we'll leave out of this podcast. But at the end of the day, all of these things affect our businesses and how we operate. And, we have to adjust and adapt, I guess I would say, to our current surroundings in order to continue doing business and to continue to grow. And so, that in itself is one of the big reasons that, I was looking forward to this podcast today is, at least for us internally at Cascade, we've seen so much change, primarily in the last 6 months itself, but we've seen so much change and we've had to shift, very quickly in order to stay ahead and to continue growing. For us, one of the major changes was we are launching a whole nother company now, Charlotte Smart Homes here in North Carolina. And the influx of residential requests working from home. I'm spending my days at my house now, whether it be security, I need better internet, just everything. You've got your kids working, doing school from home. Yeah. Everybody is now completing their daily tasks from within the house, and that caused a serious problem.
Yeah.
when this all started. And so that's one of the biggest changes for us. We now have a residential branch of our company. We have had to travel has been hindered roughly, and what do we consider an emergency these days to go and hop on a plane and fly across the country for a customer?
Yeah.
That shifted a bit from what it was last November. Last November, we'd hop on a plane for anything, just even if it was to show face at a customer site, get them back up and going. And now today, we have a lot of more precautions. So,
And Kramer, if I can interject really quick, just to take it out of the business realm, like we're in November, Thanksgiving. Do you go home to travel for Thanksgiving? Do you go to your grandma's house or they come to you? It's like in a macro level, it's affecting just normal life now as well.
For sure.
Absolutely.
It definitely. I mean, that's a great point. Not even from a professional stance, but just a general all around. We've all seen our lives change. The folks that used to sit directly beside of us in our offices, now it's been months since we've seen them. Half of us probably aren't shaving anymore. I mean, it's been a shift. So, yeah, not to call anybody out. No. But no, I'm definitely eager. From a distribution side, from a product specialist side, I just kind of want to go around and hear from you guys how your day-to-day operation truly has shifted.
I'm happy to start, if that's okay. I also want to touch on the point that you talked about. People at home having to work, families. I've done so many calls where kids have walked in the background of like a C-level executive presentation. It's on their mom's lap, and the mom's giving the presentation, dad's giving the presentation. We're at their kids right there. And it's so cute, and it's so adorable. And I almost think it's actually helping business to agree.
Yeah.
It's humanizing the person you're meeting with and the people in the meeting. And it's really cool to see. And I just actually enjoy it. So maybe like when all this is over and we're back in offices, maybe kids can come to the office more and like be with their parents, like have that interaction. I think is cool. But I don't have kids, so I can understand as a parent, it may not be the most beneficial for what you're doing. But to take it to what you're saying from a business side, what we're seeing at Cisco Umbrella, for us being able to protect on and off network users, it was really key for us to be able to pivot to really focusing on off network. Because obviously people aren't at the branch offices anymore. People aren't at the corporations. So us using our roaming client to offset when people are on the VPN is key. So we saw a major uplift at Cisco Umbrella. We actually offered free trials back when everything started of WebEx, Duo, and Umbrella. And we've seen that pace still pick up. We're getting more trials than ever because people need that off-network protection to understand and make sure that their customer base, their clientele, their workforce, all those assets in the cloud are safe, all their remote work is safe, all the collaboration is safe. So we're really trying to, at Cisco Umbrella, just like you guys pivoted to residential, how do we make sure that we continue to grow our business of remote work to protect people? So I'll pause there.
I love it. And also just to interject something, I as a business owner and I as a father, I obviously have my kids running around in it. What you said makes me feel better. I was doing interviews the other day it was 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and it's a lot going on either way. And in the middle of an interview, my daughter just decides to come and jump on camera. And that's truly a new hurdle that we're not used to. It's great. I love the extra time, but I'm also looking at how we can segment that a little bit. So yeah. Colleen, how about yourself from a distribution standpoint? You're in Pennsylvania. Tell me about how everything, going on outside of those doors, how is that truly affecting you? It looks like you may be in the office right now. Is that the case?
Yeah, I am actually. I came to the office, better lighting.
Okay.
But I mean, as a distributor, especially for small to medium business partners, thinking of that scope when the pandemic first hit, I think there was a lot of worry on how to navigate through those waters and how we would be able to effectively communicate with our customers if we're not, because in our office, we have a lot of vendor contact. Our vendors visit our office regularly. So we were wondering how that would kind of pivot over if we did have to work from home. And I
Yeah.
think the work from home process, and I'm grateful that we've been able to navigate and do that so beautifully, not without bumps, but effectively enough where our partners haven't even seen any removal of service, that
Yep.
one-to-one relationship that we've had. I think working from home has even more increased that effort because we want to make sure that we're not missing out on any of that business or any of those opportunities. We're contacting partners more, we're communicating with our teammates more. So for me, it's, I mean, I like being working from home. I like being in the office as well. So that maybe once we're back to our normal, whatever that is, it can go for that half and half, or because I do think that it was beneficial, it pushed us to work even harder. So we're not seeing any degradation in sales or any of that stuff. So I'm really, really grateful on that. And for our partners too, we're building business. And as Randy said, Umbrella, Duo, and AnyConnect has been one of our highest selling products,
For
out the
good
gate.
reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you're hitting the trifecta with those three products. Even if your budget has been constrained, it doesn't take much to add those products. They're very cost effective. And to add those products to your ecosystem, just to know that once you add Umbrella, immediately your users and you are protected.
Yeah. And
That's
Colleen,
that's yeah.
to piggyback on that, what's the cost effective analysis of you buying those products versus you getting hacked or you getting your information taken? Now you're in the news, you're
Absolutely.
losing clientele. What's the ROI of that?
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, and I mean we definitely preach that to our partners. Would you rather, we really push being more proactive, especially during this pandemic. We be more proactive instead of reactive. If you're, as the saying goes, if you stay ready, you don't have to worry about, you know, the things that happen outside because you know that you're protected.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's good.
One of the other things that, and Colleen, in talking with you, we do a lot of business with D&H. We anything we can order from D&H, we do. For me, I think, you've made a really good point that I haven't thought about yet is we do everything over the internet with D&H. We place our orders over the internet, everything.
Mhm.
It has been so seamless for us. And oftentimes I don't think we step back to look at the process for D&H or any distributor at that matter. Shipping times have remained the same. We're not getting wrong products. We're not getting, the wrong orders, nothing like that. And so
Knock on
for
wood.
us to look back and for us to look, to kind of step back and look at the process that D&H has had to implement in order to keep those standards the same while the majority of your workforce is working from home. It's really it's actually really incredible. And I'm sure for the C-levels and the executives, it's probably been an eye opener. Like, hey, we've been able to run this ship, and the half the lights aren't even on in the building. So it's a big
Absolutely.
change.
Absolutely. And I definitely think, and they're pleased.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the emails, so they're in constant communication, so we know what's going on. But definitely that seamlessness of how it took place, kudos to our IT staff and everyone within the company and upper management for that happening. Because I mean, when prior to the pandemic, we have our outside sales reps and we have a few employees that did work from home periodically, but nothing to this magnitude.
Yeah.
So for us to shift and everything happen like that, it was definitely great.
Colleen, how many folks do you have at D&H in Hershey? How many folks are at that facility?
Oh,
I
mean, yeah. I believe I know it's over 300 or 400.
Wow.
It's no
Yeah.
small feat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to our shipping, our warehouse employees as well. You know, they've been we've had a plan implemented where they work their staggered shift, so in turn keeping everyone safe,
Yeah.
thinking about their safety. And I think that's the biggest thing I love about DNH is because of the fact that they've they've put their employees, but not only their employees, but their customers and their vendors at high priority to make sure that, okay, well, we're not seeing each other face to face, but here's how we shift that business and make sure that you get product and you still stay in business, you know, on your end, and you're still earning that money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it.
How about Zach?
I was just about to say.
Your turn.
Zach.
Zach,
How about your clients? I mean, have you seen most of your clients sort of work from home, or I'm sure some of them are back at their office, but you know, what's your observations over the last couple months?
You know, it's actually been better than I thought it was going to be, which is good to see. A lot of our clients aren't necessarily office based anyway. So, you know, there's a lot of like retail storefronts and stuff like that to where you just can't work from home. I mean, that you can't work from home and sell stuff from retail storefronts. But as for the office customers, they haven't really been affected too much. They are working from home, but they've gone to, you know, stuff like WebEx for meetings and been able to move their phone systems, which were IP-based anyway, and cloud-based, you know, to work from home. You know, people can take home their phones and, you know, a slight modification to either get them on Wi-Fi if they don't have Ethernet or run them over a power line or whatever. There hasn't been much change in that regard, you know, and they can do stuff on their laptops and whatnot. So it hasn't been really too bad from what I've seen here, but I think that's mostly based on client base. But for residential, that's where things have kind of gone up and down a little bit, because at the beginning of the pandemic, when things started to get bad here, people didn't want anyone in their houses, you know, so sales really went down for residential because they're like, you know, we don't want anyone in our house, you know, because that could bring something in. And so that really dropped for a while, and then it kind of started to pick back up, actually into a spike, and people were stuck at home and they were wanting to do home improvements.
Yeah.
So then they're calling us, you know, wanting alarm systems, cameras, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it kind of petered out again, and then it went to actually something we did for a while is shipping alarm system kits to people to self-install. So it's all wireless. It's the same professional equipment that we would install, but it's pre-programmed and it's all cellular-based for communications at Central Station. So it could just be shipped right to the customer, and they can do it themselves. And then, you know, I or another tech could be on the phone with them walking through some other stuff to set up. And then, you know, at a later point when things kind of evened out a little bit and things weren't as bad as the virus, we've come and add other stuff like carbon monoxide, fire detection, flood detection, other stuff that's not as easy to just peel and stick, and it's higher liability, you know, kind of thing. So that's kind of how it's been here. But business-wise overall, if you just graphed it into an average, it hasn't changed that much. Some areas have been better, some areas have been worse. It really kind of just depends right now.
Yeah, I certainly relate with that. I mean, the areas where we've seen sales and projects decrease, we've offset that with, you know, with higher sales and other projects in other areas. So and again, that's just I love the idea of the self-install alarm kits. You know, I think that was a great way to continue seeing that revenue while, you know, keeping safety at a hindsight. Mark, how about you? How's this got you? How's it affected you? I always say this every time we do a podcast, but I feel like you worked from home a lot before this. So
I did.
I feel like you had a little bit of preparation where you know what we had coming.
We call him the Rabbit Man for a reason. He's got rabbits and rabbits on rabbits.
Well, you know, I did work a lot from home before. So what my observations or the way I felt was now is even more extended. So I feel like I've been on this ride for the last 6-7 months that I've sat at this table, and I'm sure there's a ton of people that can relate to that. I just seem to sit in this chair for too many hours a day, and I think a lot of people are kind of like, wow, man, I used to hate going to the office, but I would love to go back in the office for a little bit. You know what I mean? I do feel like, from my Cisco standpoint, put my Cisco hat on, is that I think initially a lot of people made decisions on, what am I going to do with my home network? What am I going to do for collaboration, WebEx or Zoom or whatever they use? And I think over time, we've had enough time in between where people have reassessed what they have. And, maybe they picked Zoom first and now they're like, maybe I can do something a little bit better. Or maybe I had a home router at home and that thing just sucks. I need more performance. I have all my kids on WebEx calls or Zoom calls with their teachers. I need more bandwidth, right? Or what Randy and Colleen were talking about was security. Maybe I need Umbrella. Maybe I need VPN. Maybe I need some endpoint security. Hey, what else is there now to improve what we have 8 months into this? So I think that reassessment has been a big observation for me, Kramer.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned,
Go ahead, Zach.
oh, I was just going to say, you mentioned people trying to work from home and balance, maybe needing a stronger router to balance the bandwidth with themselves and their kids. And I'll tell you what, I've configured more quality of service on residential routers now than I ever have in the last several years. Quality of service is a must-have right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true.
But I think it also definitely has pushed security conversations where
Oh,
before you've had to force those conversations or try to draw partners in, now it's just automatic, which is awesome.
right.
Once I get a phone call, all I hear is, okay, I need some security products, but I don't know where to start. So it makes the conversations easier.
Yeah.
Do you
The
feel,
good-
Colleen, that most of the calls are, hey, I don't know anything about it, or is there a big range of partner aptitude with being technical on security and knowing what they need, or just I'm pretty new, I don't really know what's out there? Does it kind of run the whole gamut?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's more so partners that, as you mentioned, they're reassessing products that they may have had before. So it's
Mm-hmm.
forced them to actually look at their products and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, is this really working for me? A lot of the questions that we get is, where do I start? Because obviously there's so many options out there. And I think that's what's made, having something like Umbrella such an easy win for them, because it's a no-brainer when it comes to automatically protecting you and your users. So yeah, it definitely runs the gambit.
And I would say overall, the Cisco umbrella, pun intended, of having Cisco as one corporation that you can get secure access, zero trust, routers,
Absolutely.
collaboration together, and they all play together in the way they can be integrated via SecureX or the way that they use Cisco Talos for the security. It gives businesses, especially when they need those quick wins very quickly
Mhm.
to protect their users and everything that comes with it. One-stop shop, so they don't have to use 5 different vendors. You can just use Cisco altogether.
Absolutely.
That's a good point, Kramer and Zach. Let me touch on that. How important is it to have, say, a company that can provide multiple solutions? It's not just Cisco. There's a bunch of vendors out there that can provide multiple kind of solutions. Is that important to you guys?
It is. I guess I'll run with that one first. It is very important to me, and it brings up a really good point. When over the last year, 2 years, we've had an RMM platform, and then we've had a backup solution, and then we've had an antivirus solution. We've had a remote access solution. We've had all these tools, and over time, your tool bag can only hold so much. And so I learned a really, really quick and valuable lesson that we can't just keep pulling tools from every different direction and expect that productivity. One of the things that has really changed the game for us is the Acronis Cyber Protect. instead of having 7 or 8 different vendors, now we've got one vendor for our backup disaster recovery. We've got one vendor. They're also doing our antivirus. They're also doing our ransomware protection. They're also doing remote access. They're doing our patch management now. And so we are slowly starting to, we've slowly moved everything from antivirus, backups, all that. And now we're starting to make that phase from our RMM platform over to the Acronis platform. So, and that goes hand in hand with the Cisco. It's easier for me to go in and tell a client, hey, like you need the AnyConnect client, and let's look at SecureX or Duo or whatever it might be. It's easier for me to explain like this is a bundled package than me saying, hey, you need this VPN client and you need this security product, and it overwhelms the customer in a sense. And so I've seen better sales, I've seen better support, all around happier by trying to limit the number of vendors that we're working with.
What about you, Zach?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Kramer said. And in addition to that, it's easier dealing with one company than multiple companies.
Okay.
I mean, getting signed up with vendors is a pain as it is. So if you can channel that all under one vendor, that's great. And especially with how Cisco, does their subscriptions, if you can bundle all that under one subscription, it's easier to bill for and customer to pay for and all that kind of stuff rather than, breaking it up under 3 or 4 different subscriptions. So, that's been nice, especially with, I haven't dealt with the Cisco security as much, but with, like network and collaboration products, it can be all under one vendor and one subscription, plus the whole ecosystem works with itself really nicely. But it can be all under one subscription rather than, something for the phone subscription and then something for your routers and that licensing and then for your switches and, your access points and your wireless LAN controllers and this and that. So, yeah, definitely having everything under one vendor is a nice way to have it.
One thing I hear a lot is it's one throat to choke. So one part of it, is the product side and what it can do, but it's also the support side, understanding what that process is, because the companies vary heavily on how they deal with support, whether you can actually get on a phone call with them or it's email or it's text support, right? So I think that is a really important aspect, especially for MSPs that want to standardize on a certain product set. I think that's super important.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think we didn't really talk about this before we started recording, but with everything, we're getting close to, I think, our time here. But one of the things that I did want to do, I mean, we've already talked about it. There's so much going on in the world. I feel like there's a lot of negativity out there. Let's do this if we don't mind. Is let's end on a more positive note. Maybe go around right quick and mention something positive that has come out of the pandemic for you. I don't want to make light of a bad situation. Don't get me wrong, but something you've been able to focus more time on, whether it be personal, professional, whatever. Let's do that. For me, I think being able to slow down and go from 100 miles an hour down to 97 miles an hour and take that and better organize my company. Better organize our sales leads. But then most importantly of all, I think the ability to spend more time with my kids and that environment from working from home, I think that has probably been the biggest benefit of the whole situation. So that's for me. Doesn't matter which order we go in, but I definitely would love to hear it.
Someone else, go ahead.
I know what Mark's gonna say. I got it written down right here. I'm just waiting to see what he says.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Kramer. It's definitely allowed me personally to slow down, prioritize a lot of things that I was kind of couldn't get to or were pushing to the side. Deal with family a little bit better, but also to really engage with customers that I'm talking to as well. See how they feel or what they're going through with the pandemic. Because sometimes when they call in, they want to vent about how their businesses are going or
Yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah.
as much as they want to do that sale. So
Yep.
it's definitely helped me to get more in tuned with the partners.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Okay, I can go. I'll do a business one and a personal one. So
There you
personal.
go. I love it.
I was living in San Francisco when the pandemic hit, and obviously city
Oh.
life, everything is shut down. Everything. Mark was remote worker. I became a remote worker because of this, so now I'm full-time remote, which is great. I moved
Nice.
down to San Diego. I live pretty much on the beach. I've taught myself how to surf, podcast. So I've used this as opportunity to like focus myself and not be stuck to, teams type stuff, like individual stuff, as we all have said, and be out in nature, activities, hiking, camping. So really trying to connect with inner self, which has been fun. From a business perspective, I think Colleen said it perfectly, is understanding what partners need and how we enable them, understanding what customers need and how we can enable them. So being that focal point, like, hey, we need security now, we need security now. Now that we weren't an afterthought, we're now just the first thought. And it's rewarding knowing that we're protecting people from today's attacks and future attacks and enabling their business success, meaning that they don't have to worry about security. They can focus on other areas of business to grow and we can protect them. That's why I'm in security, and that's why it's rewarding for me.
Nice, dude.
That's
You
awesome.
have grabbed the reins on this, man. This
I know.
pandemic, I mean, you went from San Francisco to
Surfing.
now you're out on the beach every day
Yeah.
surfing. I mean, listen, man. Sounds like you're living the
Yeah.
dream, man.
When you're mid-20s and you're single, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have kids right now, you have some ability to make your life where you want it.
There you go, man. Hey, rock on, dude. I love it. I love it. Zach?
Yeah, it's been, I agree with what Colleen said. It's been nice to be able to kind of take life a little bit easier now because with not as much volume out in the field doing stuff. It's been nice to be able to kind of relax a little bit. Obviously, that means lower income, but it's been nice to be able to have the opportunity to kind of take life a little bit easier, be able to kind of go on some small and short road trips a little bit and kind of take some more time off when things are slower. So in that regard, it's been really nice not having to keep up and work as many long days in the field. Obviously, that comes at the disbenefits of financially, but for the most part, income hasn't been too much worse, and it's been nice to kind of take things a little bit easier and kind of get more reoccurring revenue type of stuff, where it's more passive income rather than active income for actually installing new systems, doing service work, that kind of stuff.
100%.
All right, Mark, I got one of the things that I know you're most thankful about the pandemic written down on this piece of paper here. So go for it.
Well, I think for myself, it's been really interesting. My kids aren't really kids, so having both of them at home again has been challenging to say the least. But it's been a funny time. So I think all five of us have said the same thing. I think for sure I took a step back. I took more time to do things. I didn't do as many things as I would normally do just because I think a lot of it was just noise. And I think I really prioritized the things that I concentrated on. When you work for Cisco, you're moving at 1,000 miles an hour all the time. And I think what I've taken this time to do is slow down, just like you, Craig, slow down, and really try to do the activities, the motions and executions that I could do that I knew would make sense and that would work. Like working with Colleen on a daily basis, making sure that D&H is enabled to do all of the things that Cisco has to offer and offer that to your, people like you guys, like the partner base that we have. So it's been interesting to say the least, but hey, I'm looking forward to the next year. I think things are going to really turn around.
And I like what you said about noise. I mean, so much of it that was going on around all of us was noise, and I realized that I'm getting just as much work accomplished on a daily basis, but I'm not having to try as hard because a lot of that noise is gone. Now I am disappointed. I wrote down golf on here because I know you've been playing more golf. I haven't been following you as much, but I can only just everything. Everybody's been crazy, but
Well, look behind them.
I know you've been
See, no
playing more
router
golf.
for you, Kramer. No router for you.
I have been playing a lot more, and honestly, here in California, it's one of the only things you can really do aside from surfing. I live in Huntington Beach; it's right here. Waves are coming up, by the way, in the next couple days.
Oh, it's gonna be massive.
But yeah,
It's gonna be
it's supposed to
big.
be. It's going to be 5 to 8 feet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out. I'm not at that point yet.
But no, you know what? I feel very blessed. I have a job. I know there's a ton of people out there that don't, for many reasons. But I just think that, we're looking where we are right now at this time point. I honestly feel like the next year is going to be a really good one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that we could all get together and we could chat and catch up. Once again, working from home, I see the same people over and over again every day. Nothing wrong with them, but it's nice to see a new face every now and then.
Hey, Kramer, can I say one thing really quick?
For sure, 100%.
Awesome. Sorry to interrupt you. So I do actually have a promotion for people. If you are listening to this podcast and you're a partner and you've never used a UPC before, that stands for Umbrella Partner Console. If you go ahead and sign up for it, it's how you can manage Umbrella trials. It makes it very easy for you to control the dashboard for your customers, everything that goes with it. If you use this for the first time and you listen to this podcast and you reach out to myself, anybody on this podcast,
or Colleen,
Kramer, you say that you listen to this podcast, make sure to get in contact with me and we will send you swag. We have a whole little swag pack for you, some Umbrella memorabilia, clothing, things like that. So if you're able to sign up for the UPC, get your first customer activate on it, we'll get you some swag.
Nice. And also, I'm as we start to get towards the holiday season and things like that, I'd like to, we're going to try at least. I don't want to make any promises, but we're going to try to start doing some more live demos where we bring people together, giveaways for sure, but where we bring some folks together and look at several different platforms. We'll look at the Umbrella platform and
let's do it.
Look into a demo environment and really, we can talk about it all day long, but sometimes seeing it in action is the best thing. And we'll do that with a lot of different products. We can do that with the Umbrella console. We can do that with the Cronus platform. So we'll come up with a schedule maybe in the month of December and maybe in January with the new year and try to get the year off to a good start. Give people an opportunity to come chit chat with us like we're doing today, but also really see these products in action.
Well, and for our watchers, send us some comments. If there's something you want to see, let us know.
Yep.
Go ahead, Colleen.
Awesome.
And for partners, as Randall mentioned, we do the workshops at D&H. So if partners are interested in attending one of our workshops, Umbrella workshops, to learn how to utilize that UPC portal to their advantage in selling Umbrella and run trials, absolutely reach out to us.
Awesome. We'll get the schedule if we can. I'll see what I can find, but if we can maybe we can get the schedule for D&H and the sessions that you guys already have planned, and we can get those published on the site. And see if we can't maybe get, not only get involved, but get some folks to
sign up.
Yeah, exactly. So, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys. I'd like to, try to rope everybody back in a few months and have the.
Hey, Kramer, before you go, I just want to clarify one thing. Hey, Mark, can you help explain what it takes to sign up for the UPC? I think you might just know a little bit better than I do.
The best thing to do from a partner standpoint is contact your favorite distributor like Colleen. That's what I would do. That's the best thing to do. Your distributors are your friends. Yeah. Not only will you get the best pricing, you'll get the best inventory, you'll get the best shipping times. They're your friend. If you're not signed up with one of the Cisco distributors like D&H, Ingram, Tech Data, ScanSource, and ScanSource, you should get signed up right away. Right away. And contact us. We'll have some emails on our links. Go ahead, Kramer.
And to piggyback off of that, sign up for more than one. Get yourself 2 or 3 that you kind of cross-check some products. Nothing against D&H at all. I'll let you figure out. I'll let you figure out who your best source for hardware is going to be on your own. But get 2 or 3 and look at some of the price differences. Look at some of the shipping times. But even more importantly than that, pick up the phone, call. Find out who your account manager is and see the attention and what you get in return from them. Because at the end of the day, those folks are there for you. And if you're not talking to them on the regular, if they're not contacting you to make sure that you're doing okay, everything's going the right way, then that's not the right distributor for you. So,
And I'll be very honest with you. There's a reason why D&H is so popular.
yes, there's a reason why pretty much everything we order comes from D&H. But I'll let you figure that out on your own. I'm not biased. I don't work for Cisco or D&H. So. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys, as always. And I look forward to having all of you back on here and getting a chance to talk with you again.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
everybody.
Absolutely.
Have a
Thank
good day.
you.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
time.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Perfect. I think that went really well.